Welcome back inside the Bakersfield, California studios. Ryan Holt, Kevin Bartle, joined by Condors. We're going to call him Slash because he's defenseman slash forward here over the last couple of weeks. Joey LaLeggia. We're live on Bakersfield.com, I-45 as well. Welcome inside Condors Unleashed. Do this each and every Tuesday, 2 to 3 p.m. So long as the team's in town. We'll be off for the next couple of weeks. Condors, of course, going up to the outdoor game coming up next week. You can get your tickets at Ticketmaster.com. It'll be at Rayleigh Field in Sacramento, 7:30, December the 18th. Should be a lot of fun. Looking forward to the outdoor game. Condors take on the Stockton Heat. Joey LaLeggia, our guest. Joey, let's start there. Outdoor game as a player. What kind of thoughts go through your mind when you hear that you're going to be playing outdoors? Not only outdoors, but outdoors in California.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting. I mean, the outdoor game has gotten so popular in the NHL over the last few years, and you always watch those and think about how exciting it would be to be involved in one, and now to get that opportunity is pretty special.
There you go. Palm trees in the background, ice under your feet. It's just the way God intended hockey to be played.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. We talk about the last couple of games, playing up front, playing as a forward. First of all, have you had experience playing as a forward prior to this past week, and how have you enjoyed playing forward here over the last couple of games?
As far as experience goes, I always used to try to play forward when I was a kid.
See, every defenseman wants to be.
They all want to be forwards. I know they do.
Shot down by coaches and my dad. But, it's been fun. I mean, Jerry approached me and asked me about it originally, and I told him that if the team needed me up there, that I would be there to help. And it's been a lot of fun. I mean, getting the chance to play with great players and just using the anticipation skills of being a forward is just so much different than playing defense. I feel like playing defense it's a very mental game. It's a lot of thinking. It's a lot of really awareness and trusting a system. And I find being a forward is a lot more anticipation, and it's a lot more free flowing, and it's more fun.
Yeah.
Let's not mince words. It's more fun.
So Jerry says you want to play forward, and you're like, oh, if the team needs me, but on the inside you're like, yes, my master plan is working.
Yeah, exactly.
What have you had to kind of adjust about the way you approach the game? You mentioned a little more creativity up front, but do you go into the game with a little different mindset, knowing that you're playing up front as opposed to on the back end?
I mean, the mindset is just to do the little things of being a forward, as opposed to doing the little things on defense. Getting pucks out of the zone, making plays on the walls, making smart plays in the offensive zone, and creating offense. Not being afraid to be creative and using my speed and just trying to help my teammates all over the ice.
Right here. That's kind of on the smaller side for D-men, but I'm guessing you're used to that. How have you adapted and how have you changed your game over the years, growing up and getting to being able to get to this point?
Well, this is nothing new. This is something that's always been there.
Right.
And
you can't fix it.
I prefer it that way because it's almost a motivational tool just because of how many people tell me I can't do it and I shouldn't be here. You see so many smaller guys in the NHL today, and all those guys can skate. They can all handle the puck, and none of them are scared. And that's just the kind of game I like to bring. I want to prove everybody wrong and prove that I really belong here and that I want to play in the NHL.
Proved a lot of people wrong at Denver as well. What were those 4 years like? Went to the national tournament last year. Can remember watching you on TV against in the Providence regional there, winning the first game, eventually losing to the eventual national champs. But must have been a great experience at Denver with the Pioneers.
Yeah, I'm really happy I chose the college hockey route. I mean, I'm very lucky. This says 182. When I was about to go to the major junior, it said about 155. So that was just, I needed those 4 years to really, fill out and get my strength where it needed to be. And also I got such great coaching at school as well from George Gwozdecki and Jim Montgomery and Dave Carl, Steve Miller, David Lassonde. I had a lot of coaches.
Yeah.
It was a great experience. We had a great group, and it was unfortunate the way it ended, but I'm just so happy I got the opportunity to go there.
Now, you mentioned the decision, and this is something that, maybe a lot in Bakersfield that don't understand, but especially as a Canadian, the choice between going to major junior, going to play in the WHL, or going to the college route. What was kind of your mentality going into making that decision and finding out where you wanted to play the next, 4 or 5 years?
It was a decision based on the future, and I mean, if you're going major junior, unless you're supposed to be one of these highly touted, first round picks, for me it was difficult to really put all my eggs in one basket and, pray that I would be ready to play pro hockey by the time I was 20 years old. And, there's so many great college hockey programs that it's starting to become a lot more popular now. But even, 5-6 years ago when I was making my decision, it wasn't all that, it wasn't the proper thing to do for a Canadian was to go to college. The major junior was the major recruiting tool, the major tool to get to the NHL. But for a guy like me who needed those extra years, that was the smartest move for me.
It's hard for American hockey fans to understand as well. They're the major junior route. It's in everybody's face. The West. If you grow up in Western Canada, the Western Hockey League is everywhere. You can't get away from it. You had to have just so many people in your environment asking, playing the dub, you playing the dub, you playing the dub. To make that decision, like Holtby said, to go to college is kind of flies in the face of all tradition growing up.
Yeah, and my dad's work had season tickets to the Vancouver Giants all growing up too,
Yeah.
so I was a frequent Vancouver Giant fan. I would go all the time. But, I'm really lucky to have my dad in my life, my father Joe, who is very smart, very wise, and he's the most honest person with me. And he was the one who really told me, he goes, buddy, you need a couple of years. I don't doubt that you'll be ready to play when you're 20, but let's not leave it to chance. You have this opportunity here to go play for Fred Harbinson in Penticton and then go on to play at Denver. Maybe, I don't want to say it was a hard decision to not go to major junior, but it definitely did weigh on me a little bit just because I had so many friends growing up who were, playing in the dub, having a great time.
Yeah.
But for me, that was ultimately the best decision, and I'm glad I made it.
So
now we know why he's Joey too.
Yeah.
By the way,
Wow.
Dad's Joe.
Figure it out.
There you go.
Business degree from Denver, but if this hockey thing doesn't work out, if down the road doesn't work out, what's the fallback plan for Joey LaLeggia? Is it a golf game? I hear you got some football skills as well too, both
I played
soccer
some high
and
school
football.
Yeah, but I'll be working for my old man. Probably. He's pretty big into finance, and he always told me, there was even again, my dad comes into play when after my junior year of college, when I was thinking of coming out and signing with the Oilers, my dad's pushing a degree on me. He goes, "You've been there 3 years. You might as well stay another one. Get your degree." He goes, "You're not, if hockey goes south, you're not working for me if you don't got a degree." So,
There's no cakewalk.
Him and my mom have been really big influences on me, and my after hockey, hopefully not for a long time, but I'm sure he'll have something to do with my life there as well.
Has to be a huge Italian family, right? Is every Italian family huge?
Mine's not huge at all,
Oh.
just because we're so spread out. My grandparents moved. My dad's side moved to Montreal, so I have a bunch of family back east. And my mom's family moved to Vancouver, but they're pretty small families. Just my Nona and Nono, and then I have an aunt and uncle of my mom, and there's only 2 cousins on that side, so it's really not that big of a family.
Did you ever get over to Italy at all?
I haven't. I have a passport and a citizenship, and I've still never been. We've used all our...
You got plenty of time.
All our vacation time has been used on hockey.
On traveling around seeing you play.
And then we've been going far in playoffs, so you get home in May, and then you get a couple weeks off, and I like to relax. I don't want to be sitting on an airplane for 14 hours trying to get over to Europe.
Playing out here in California obviously has its benefits. The golf game getting better out here in California?
I don't want to say too much because I got some buddies back home. My first round back with them, if it's not very good, then it's gotten a lot better. There's a good group of us, me and LB, Dylan Simpson, Kyle Platzer, Greg Chase, Josh Winquist before he was hurt. Try to get out there a lot, and it's a lot of fun.
That's one of the benefits about being in Bakersfield.
Play some golf. Make a living playing hockey.
It's not a bad job.
Life is good, man. Life is good.
Away from the golf course, away from being on the ice, what do you kind of like to do to unwind, be able to, kind of separate yourself from hockey and realizing that this is the job now and you're here for a career?
Yeah, I buy the NHL Game Center package, so I watch a lot of hockey. Big football fan as well. Pretty into my fantasy football team like everyone else.
Yeah, who's the football team?
Seattle.
Oh, okay.
Seahawks, just close to home team.
Who's your Canadian Football League team?
BC Lions.
All right, just checking. Didn't know
if it all carried over.
Eskimos, winning championship recently.
We were in Winnipeg. The disappointing thing about the Grey Cup, and I don't know but the disappointing thing was it didn't snow. I mean, you watch all the Grey Cup highlights,
Yeah.
the Doug Flutys of the world. I mean, they're in 15 feet of snow up to their eyeballs. Let's get some snow in there.
I love it.
It's a balmy 20 degrees Fahrenheit in Winnipeg.
It's practically summer.
Joey, we appreciate the time.
Thanks for having me.
All right,
Yeah,
good luck
thanks
this
for coming
weekend.
on.
Thank
Condors a defenseman / forward. You never know where he's going to play. Joey LaLeggia, but you'll see him in your lineup this weekend. Condors take on the San Diego Gulls, and then in Ontario on Saturday night. Also, the outdoor game coming up December the 18th against the Stockton Heat in Sacramento. Tickets at Ticketmaster.com. If you're on My45, thanks for tuning in on Condors Unleashed. If you're not, Tracy Leach will come back and we'll make some picks because I'm climbing the standings because Mike Hart went 0-3 last week.
Mike Hart, 0-3.
We'll step out, take a break. This is Condors Unleashed, Bakersfield.com.